Hi, everyone. It's the last one. Okay, wow. I see some people in the house already. Glad to have you. We have a special guest. He was with us not last night, but the night before, and we were looking around at romances. And tonight, we're going to take a look at cozy mystery and thriller in a ways that many of you haven't seen before. So I would love to welcome Nat Connors to the stage from Kindle Trends, our friend.
Hello, hello. Everybody. Great to be back.
Yep. Okay, I do have to say, just as a PSA, if you're someone who's watching our videos and you think you're going to leave comments about we ramble and we chitty chat for 14 minutes or 56 minutes or whatever it is, I'm just going to remove your comment, dude. Like, that's how we do things here. This is our channel. So yeah, I just had to remove a couple of comments that were just like a little ill-educated. So yeah, that was interesting. So just so you know, the FFA is going to keep on being a groovy community. We don't have time for flim flam, riff raffle. Anyway, everyone's saying nice to have you back. Rick, I cannot wait to see your mock-ups. I had so much fun with my mock-ups that I came back on last night to the Zoom to show you guys. Hello. And thank you, Eldon. I love the conversations on your videos. You guys are a blast. I was just reading all your comments and like hearting them and liking them. So like, thank you for your comments on the videos. They were very kind. Ikello, you want to join us, Ikello? You're more than welcome. Those people can start their own boring channels with no fun chats. Yeah, Jen, I agree. All right. So there was a question I wanted to start because I don't want to ignore. You don't mind that, right? Just answering.
I'll go for it.
Okay. Christina, I don't quite understand your question because there's a couple of ways to interpret this question. How can you use the Easy Peasy Book Machine for a novel series for 6 books? Is this for the 6th book or 6 books? Either way, what you're asking to do is a very complicated and advanced use of AI because AI is not very good at keeping details straight. RAG is not the best for fiction yet. Lynn, I saw, invited you to her community class. That's probably the best way for you to probably get some hands-on help. But this is not like what you're asking for it to do. It's still going to be a lot of hand-holding, human hand-holding, and managing the details. The best way I can tell you is all the details you have about your series, you're going to always ask the AI to make a plan for whatever task you want it to do, like write chapter 13, make a plan to write chapter 13. Then once you have that plan, you let it write chapter 13. At some point, we usually turn all those details off because giving it too much information can be just as bad as not giving it enough information in our experience with writing with AI. Nat, I don't think you don't do a lot of prose generation with AI, correct?
Not for a while. You and I talked about it ages ago, but I've been mostly just following along in your wake, trying to keep up with you. I'm not joking. That's actually mostly what I've been doing. Seriously.
I don't think you're the only one. I got kind of opposite of humble, a little uppity, because I was dealing with so many people kind of like dismissing me, and I was like, I'm one of the best in the world at prompting for fiction. And if you find someone else who is as good, let me know because I'd like to make more friends. So
it certainly takes a lot of practice to learn some of the things that you have learned, and I think you only find it out the hard way. That's the thing I've realized is a lot of it you can't do analytically. It just takes quite a lot of time and attention and figuring things out, as you go. And I think that's one of the things that you've got that gives you a real advantage over other people, is that because you're a writer and you've got LLM prompting knowledge, you can ask the kinds of questions that other people might not.
Right. And I ask questions that people think are stupid, but usually yield dividends.
Or that they dare not, or whatever. Yeah.
I think one of my favorite moments working back in the day, it was like I'm looking at outlines, doing prompting, and I'm like, oh, that one's a much better outline. And the guys are like, how do you know what criteria? And I'm like, I just do. Like I've been publishing for 15 years. I've written 25 books. I can tell you what, I can just look at it and go, that's a good outline. That sucks. But then they're like, but how? And I'm like, okay, well, there's no character motivation over here. This is very vague. Your act 1 doesn't pay off in act 3. I don't know what you're doing here, but it's okay. Cause people who are really great with engineering, they took extra math and science classes. They didn't take extra English classes. That's what we did. I'm someone who took extra math and science classes in high school. And then I took extra English classes in college. That's my blend.
Wow. Yeah. That's really impressive.
Yeah, you, Mr. Who has a PhD. So don't let them, don't let him fool you guys. Like, he's way more educated than I am.
Please.
Cersei says, will the FFA Academy subscription include classes like the standalone ones that are on sale for Black Friday now? Should I get the standalone classes? We've gone over this a couple of times in the lives, but anything that is a class by Dean at Future Fiction Academy, that is included in the Mastermind as a courtesy. But if you do leave the Mastermind, you don't keep those. You just have access for while you're in the Mastermind. So we do have people who are in the Mastermind and who also buy those classes because they sometimes come and go from the Mastermind, and that's totally fine. So the one by the amazing Cozy Mystery one by Natasha Sass, for example, that's by one of the members of the FFA. She's amazing. It's an amazing class. That one is not included in the Mastermind because we believe in, everyone getting paid for their work. Nobody works for exposure at the FFA. That's not a thing. It's not a thing. So we hope that people support Natasha and all of the great work that she has done to bring AI education specifically to her genre, because she's done a lot of hard work for that. Okay. All right. So Eldon says, I'm happy to meet authors who prompt better than me because I pick their brains. Yeah, me too. Me too. Okay, sorry about this, Nat. I'm just answering some quick questions.
Totally fine.
If I have a sample of my writing and I want the easy peasy book machine to write in my voice, how can I do that? First of all, I love your name. I have a cute nose. I have a cute nose too. Nat, I think you have a cute nose as well. We all have cute noses. Yeah. Oh, very good profile. Okay, I have a cute nose. Here's the thing. Anything you want the LLM to know in the easy peasy book machine, you just called that document that, like, writing a sample of writing style. And then when you want it in the prompt, you just toggle it on. When you don't want it in the prompt, you toggle it off. Now you may want to change the easy peasy book machine prompt a little bit to say, hey, I'm going to give you a writing style. Please try to match that. But we do this all the time, actually, with our chapter 1. We usually give the information to, oh, here is Ikello. Let me add him to the stage. Hello, Ikello.
Hello. Just a second. I want to make sure my audio is correct.
It's good. Have you ever formally met Nat?
I don't think we have met Ikello, although maybe Elizabeth has mentioned me to you. I think we might have been in some streams before or something. You look familiar. Lovely to meet you anyway.
I think he's still catching up on audio, but that's okay.
Okay.
We'll get there. So I have a cute nose. Back to you. So yeah, you would just want to modify that writing sample. I recommend going to one of our community classes. That especially, like, I know Ikello would be able to help you on that. His classes are next week or this week. Crap, we're in this week now. It's not next week. This is number 12 live in the weekend. Nope, Ikello, we can't hear you, but we see your mouth moving. Nope, still not great. Oh, and now we lost his video. We're having technical difficulties. But anyway, I have a cute nose. Ikello's community classes, if you don't make lens, are Friday and Saturday. No, Thursday and Friday. Thursday and Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Oh, he's getting out the.
Elizabeth, if you want me to wing it for a little bit while Ikello is getting his stuff sorted, we could maybe share one of the infographics and I can talk through one of them. Would that be?
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
So do we want to start with Cozy Mystery, or we've got a mystery, thriller, and suspense one as well?
I think Cozy, we can look at, it's for the infographics, right?
Yeah.
We'll let them vote in the chat. Cozy or all mystery? You've got like 20 seconds to put your vote in the chat. Do you want us to start with cozy mystery, or should we start with mystery as a whole? So that's the subject that we're going to look at tonight. And Nat, a little bit about, do you want to give them a little bit of insight about how you build these infographics? Like what's the data feeding into this?
Yeah, can do. Just stand by for a
second. By the way, cozy is like one in a landslide.
Yeah, has it? Interesting. Okay.
Sorry, Cersei. So, we'll get to you.
Yeah. So one of the things that I've been focused on a lot in Kindle Trends is how to get a kind of general overview of a genre, like a sort of state of the nation kind of a thing. Often we talk about what's hot and what's surging up the charts and the hot new releases and stuff. And this is great, and it's great to look at that. But if you want to build a sustained career, often it's important to understand the totality of a genre. So the things that are kind of mid-list, and also the things that are constantly present, the things that maybe aren't necessarily in the #1 slot all the time, but they are always there, always kind of important for the genre, and they're always resonating with readers, which is something that I talk about a lot. And I have a whole big shtick about what I call the author's neighborhood. And your neighborhood, just very briefly, your neighborhood is not just your comps, but it's the things that make your comp authors and books into your comp authors and books. It's tropes, yes, but also it's the language that people use when they're describing your books. It's the visual language on covers, for instance. So it's a whole lot of different stuff. And the reason why I use this kind of neighborhood metaphor is that your physical neighborhood isn't just a bunch of buildings. It's the people who live in those buildings. It's the potholes in the street. It's the trees, yada, yada, yada. And the reason why I think this is an important, a useful metaphor is that it helps us deal with the idea of being overwhelmed. If you're looking at a thing like all of mystery or all of romance, it's easy to feel pretty overwhelmed. But here's the trick. You don't actually have to know everything that's going on in your city. You might hear about some stuff that's going on across town, but what's most important is what's happening on your street and in your neighborhood, and developing kind of a subtle understanding of that. So we can sort of use words like microgenre and stuff, but I particularly chose the word neighborhood because it is a bunch of different things. It's not just what's selling. It's all of these other things. Maybe it's the other media that your readers also consume. So yep.
So like, for example, I do Jaff, but there was a point where my neighborhood heavily included Bridgerton.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. And if you write space opera, most of your readers are probably going to know something about either Star Wars or Star Trek or both, right?
Then or you could start
or the Holy Three, Star Trek, Stargate, Star Wars.
I thought you were going to say Babylon 5, dude.
Well,
no. There's no star in that name. I'm sorry.
Okay, you've got me there. All right.
I literally love all of the other ones, but my Trinity, my North Star is Stargate, Star Wars, Star Trek.
And very clearly, you should know what's going to start a gang war in your neighborhood. Like in my world,
like talking about this, for instance. Yep.
Or in my genre world, if you start a post about the 2005 Pride and Prejudice for this 1995 version, they still will fight over that in social media. And then somebody has to say, look, the 2005 one's 20 years old and the 1995 one is 30 years old. Shut up, old people.
All I'm going to say is that I will always be indebted to Colin Firth for making pasty white dude sexy again.
Like that.
If I ever see that man, I'm going to buy him a beer. Okay, look, I think we're getting off the topic, guys.
Yeah, okay. But I think it's important to know that these neighborhoods in literature are very passionate spaces. If you can tap into that.
Yeah,
your organic marketing is going to be.
And this is stuff that people have talked about a lot, I think, in the past. Like being where your readers are is a thing that we've talked about a lot. So I know I'm not saying anything novel, but I kind of picked up on this concept of the neighborhood because it helps me stay focused on understanding the stuff that is close to me. So one of the tools that I developed to try and do this kind of state of the nation or state of the neighborhood thing is an infographic, which is something that I'm going to show you now. I'll see if, Elizabeth, can I get you to post the cozy one?
I already shared it in the notes. I am ahead of you, sir. And then I will go ahead and put it in the chat.
Okay, so let's see if we can do this crazy screen sharing.
Yep.
Thing.
By the way, when we say it's in your notes, I didn't do the spiel about the notes, but like the top of the description of your YouTube video has the link to your Notion notes, along with the link to your 30-day free trial of the FFA. Scroll down a little bit more, and there's a coupon code BF24 on the standalone classes. If you're confused about anything I said, watch any of the other 11 lives that we have done over the last 4 days.
Remember that code will get you 50% off of any of the standalone classes, and you can also get into the FFA. So if you want.
Yep. All right. I will add to stage, and I'm gonna go ahead and hide us, or maybe I'll try to do this.
Okay.
Nope. I'll do that. Why is it so skinny?
It is because I'm quite a skinny guy, Elizabeth. No, it's not. I'm not.
It's
I used to be.
The tango lesson.
No, it used to be about 20 years ago. No, it is quite skinny because I've got it on half of my screen, if you see what I mean. So I can
and
see
you're just sharing. You're just sharing
I
the
am.
one. Yeah.
So, but it works. It works just as well in widescreen.
Yeah, I would go widescreen, and I'll just put that whole thing on there. That way, it's like. There you go. That's a lot easier for them to see.
Okay. The only caveat is that I now cannot see, unless I can bring it up again, I cannot see the chat, which is
you don't need to see the chat.
Don't worry about that. We got you.
You handle we handle the chat.
Okay. All
You've got your producer here now. So
Thank you very much. Okay, so what we're looking at here is what I call an infographic, and as you'll see when we scroll down, it's kind of a mixture of a presentation, like a slide presentation, but it's also an interactive tool at the same time. And the reason that I came up with this is because sometimes you want to just sort of sit back and look at all of the things that someone is telling you about a genre, but sometimes you want to dive into the specifics as well, you know? And so this is a way to try and do both, to have your cake and eat it. So this uses a technique called scrolly telling, which is from sort of journalism. And what you'll see is that when you scroll down, you see a whole lot of different things coming up. So I'm talking a little bit here about what's going on and how it all works. And when we get a little bit further down, you'll see some interactive graphics where we can dive into specifics about, in this case, Cozy Mystery. So what we've done here is we've got the top 200 books in Cozy Mystery, in the Cozy Mystery category in Amazon, and we've done a bunch of stats on them. And what we'll see as we go is what we can dive into with these stats. And Elizabeth, I hope you'll interrupt me a couple of times if there are things that are interesting for you or things that we can apply to writing using the Easy Peasy Book Machine.
I never have a problem interrupting anyone, so you can trust I will.
Okay. All right. So the other thing I want to reiterate for people is this is totally free, and the links that I think Elizabeth has put in the show notes, please feel free to share them with the rest of the author community. I love talking about this stuff, and I love getting feedback about what people really like because it's very valuable for me, you know? Okay, so. Okay, so the first thing we do is we want to look at a very overall kind of high-level picture of what's going on in the top 200 books in Cozy Mystery.
Are you able to zoom in just a little bit? Because and people can correct me if I'm wrong, but me looking at this, it's really small. I can't read the text at all that's on those cool donuts.
Yeah. Does that make it any better?
Nope. We just need like a zoom in. So like if you command plus sign, almost like like your vision's bad for the little bit more. You can now see KU 137 titles.
Okay, how's that? How's that?
A little better. I know it says wide, so wide. We'll just read it out loud. Wide is purple, KU is blue, and then
it is, as it happens.
Yeah, and then your orange. And the middle one is indie, and then the like pink is trad, and then on the right hand side, all that yellow is series, and then the teeny tiny sliver of hunter green is standalones.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay.
I did not see that.
Just a reminder, you can bring this up on your own machine, and I urge people in some ways to walk through it that way. I've actually never done that before, so I'm delighted to see that it actually works. Okay, so all right, so what we're seeing here is a breakdown. Let me just go back up. So one of the things, I'm jumping ahead a wee bit, but what's happening here is that when you scroll down through the talk, through the slides, as it were, then we can filter for a bunch of different things. And these buttons over here I'll just go back to the all button and clear it. These buttons indicate filtering these 200 books for a bunch of different properties. So let's say you're in KU, you want to just look at the KU books. So there's 137 of them. And what we're seeing is that 82% of them, this big orange circle, are indie, and only 20% are trad. And this is maybe not so surprising because most books in KU, that's not true. A lot of books in KU will tend to be indie books rather than trad published. We can talk about what I mean when I say trad published later on if anyone's interested. But we can maybe have a look at the wide books instead. And what we see here is a much bigger fraction of the wide books are trad published versus indie.
But indie takes up more of the market share, just saying.
Yep, yeah, absolutely. So the reason why this, I think, is valuable is because it helps us get at the top a high-level picture of what's going on. So the top 200 books in Cozy Mystery, mostly KU, although it's not entirely KU, it's like, say, Billionaire Romance would be or something like that. Also mostly indie, and almost entirely in series, which is an interesting point. So there are a few standalones, but not a lot. Sorry.
Can I add something really fast? I'm sorry. This is one of the biggest things that I think is important for authors to understand. When you are looking at these graphs, a lot of times there's like two kinds of authors I find in the world. They look at this and go, oh my gosh, 69% of all books in Cozy Mystery are in KU. I must be in KU. Yeah, if you want to go compete with all the majority of the people. But if 32% is wide or 31% is wide, it's a much smaller pool of books that you have to fight with on all of those other vendors. And also on the space of Amazon, where I assure you, there are a lot of readers on Amazon who are not KU users. There are still a lot of readers on Amazon who buy books.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that I always say, because people often ask me, what should I write? And I say two things. One, it has to be something that you are comfortable with reading and being really immersed in for a long time, because you're going to be if it's successful. And the other thing is there is a good living to be made in almost every genre and in almost every situation. Some are harder than others. Some have a higher ceiling than others. But the last thing I'd ever do is say to people implicitly or explicitly, you got to do this, you got to be trad, you got to be in series, all of those things. Instead, what I really focus on, particularly with these kinds of graphics, is saying if you're going to be wide, let's look at just the wide books. If you're going to be standalone, let's look at just the standalone books. So you're getting the right kind of information on your market. So you're really trying to find out what's going on in your market rather than in kind of the whole thing.
One other quick question I have, kind of in a way. This graph here, the other key thing to point out, like, let's take a look at that, like, just as an example, the series, well, we'll do the middle graph because it's a better one, a better ring there. 76% indie, 24% trad. That doesn't mean that trad is only making 24% of the revenue of the top 200 titles. That's another thing that's important. This particular graph that you're looking at is only out of the 200 titles, 152 are indies, 48, right? 48 should be the number for trad. If I'm doing the math correctly, 48 are trad.
Yeah, look at that. Fantastic.
She can add and subtract. Watch out.
Multiply, technically, but whatever, man.
I got to take my shoes off to multiply.
All right. So the other thing that and we won't dwell on this too much, but the other thing that I want people to get here is that if you want to know what these books are, then you can click on each of the little donut hujumaflickies. That's the technical term. Then you can go, and
go
then you
deeper
can
in.
click on the link. Yeah, and go deeper in. So that's the whole gig, Kello. That you can then, it will open a link. I don't know if the sharing works this way. Are you seeing an Airtable spreadsheet?
You see the Airtable. It's beautiful.
Okay, cool. All right. So
I find this to be a lot easier than some other tools that are on the market, similar to Kindle Trends, because I'm a very visual person and I find it easier to go, okay, I can understand what this piece of the donut is, and now I want to go deeper on that piece of the donut.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry for everyone that I'm making hungry.
So the idea is that you can get a top level picture of what's going on, and then you can dive in and actually look at those specific books. So let's say we're looking for KU books. This is Cozy, so let's look for, donuts. Are there any books with donuts? No, there's no books in donuts.
Yes.
Okay.
Do bakery.
Okay. There you go. So there's 10 books in KU. with the word bakery in either the title or the series name or the blurb or whatever. And we find that one of them is standalone. So let's go and look at that one bakery book.
The one bakery book.
Lynn
Jordan says, live with EAW, we all have snacks. But not because I talk about food, just this might go long.
Yep. So here we go. Calvin finally owns the bakery of his dreams.
That does not look like a bakery cover.
No, it doesn't. Interesting. Yeah.
I think Trad's not doing very good on this.
Yeah, but this is,
I can barely see it, and I can tell from here it is not a bakery cover.
Yep, that's very true. Let me see if I can.
This is like the time Simon & Schuster had a summer sale on Cozy Mystery for that is a thriller.
Yeah, it actually says chilling thriller. So this in a way, the moral of the story here, folks, is that just because a book is in a category doesn't necessarily mean that it belongs to that genre. Right. I'm fond of saying that Amazon categories have what I call a wonky relationship with genre. That is, some of them fit the genre really well, some of them fit it kind of okay, and some of them don't really fit it at all. Generally, Cozy Mystery is pretty good. Sorry, hello.
No, not at all. Here's a question. How, just out of curiosity, what is the alchemy, the algorithmic alchemy that makes that sort of thing happen? Is it something that we do as a individual when we're putting our books in, or is it, I mean, if that was a trad pub book, I mean, you know what I'm saying. How did that happen?
How did it happen? No, look, good question, man. Good question. I think there's a few different things. I don't think it is as much sort of deliberate miscategorization of books by unscrupulous authors as some people say. I think, sure, there's maybe a bit of that, but I think that's actually a relatively small contributor. Sorry, Elizabeth?
Sorry, I'll add to it once you're done.
I think most of the reason why this happens is not even authors really choosing the wrong keywords. I think for trad books, it is because sometimes trad publishers don't have a very good understanding of metadata. I've certainly personally encountered a couple of trad publishers who or put all their books in the same category because it didn't occur to them they could ask for them to be put in different categories. So just because someone has a big trad deal doesn't necessarily mean that they're very up on the metadata. Loving your cat in the background, by the way, Akela. The other thing is that, as we know, Amazon recently made some changes to reduce, by recently I mean within the past couple of years, to reduce the number of categories that books could be in down to around about 3 or so. And in
a day.
No, 3 total categories.
3 total categories.
Oh, 3 total.
That's a 3 books publishing a day.
I'm sorry, I heard the 3 and it.
Sorry, yeah. So
my wires got crossed.
Yeah. So the impression that I get is there is much more of a focus now from Amazon on automatically categorizing our books based on keywords that they pick up on, and less on us being able, as authors, being able to ask for specific categories. And this kind of is a bit of a pain because, one, we don't know what those keywords are exactly, and 2, sometimes it doesn't work. So I don't know if that helps very much, but I think the answer to your question is that authors are doing their best to come up with the right words, but we don't really know how the machinery works, and sometimes it goes haywire. Elizabeth.
And I could talk about that haywire machinery. So Amazon was one of the first big outlets to experiment with algorithms for online sales. Like, that's a very famous thing that they helped to develop, to the point that they all spied on us, et cetera, et cetera. The amount of tech debt that is involved in the Amazon website 20 some years later, it is so bad. How bad is it? A few years ago, we were all at Novelists Incorporated, and Amazon sends reps to this conference, people who work in KDP. And there was this poor man. I mean, Kevin McLaughlin and I still talk about this story. We took him out. We got him drunk. He kept talking about Spanish ham all night long, as the real purpose of his life was to import Spanish ham one day and sell it. I'm not kidding. He got very drunk.
I don't. Yeah, it's real. It's more expensive than gold. No shit. Carry on.
Then we got him drunk enough to find out, like, what the heck kind of qualifications does it take for someone to work at the KDP department of Amazon? Turns out, not much. He got the job because Amazon bought the printing company that was based in South Carolina, because he's from South Carolina. And he just got shuffled to KDP because it was the closest department that they could put him in when they bought the company, rather than getting him losing his job or whatever. Suffice to say, he was not at the conference next year. It was a whole different group of people that were at the conference the next year. But if you talk to any of the people at these conferences at Amazon, they only know their one little sliver of the thing. Like, Amanda is amazing in Amazon ads, and she'll tell you everything about Amazon ads. You ask her about KDP, she can't talk about it because she's not in that department. And they don't really send the people from KDP anymore, mostly because KDP is very heavily automated. There's not that many people on that team anymore. And the automations are so old. Just think about all the LLMs we've gone through in the last year. Now, put that as a factor of 20, and you can understand now why perhaps things go haywire in categories. And authors who have been, like, I've been publishing with KDP since 2011. There's still things that you can ask Amazon, like, move my book here. They move it there, and then like 24 hours later, the book is moved back where it was. And they can't even fix it because the algorithms are so overlapping with each other that there's just nothing to do.
It's almost unfair.
Yeah, it can be frustrating. And I mean, going back to the question of why the heck that thriller was in the cozy mystery category, no joke, it might actually have been the presence of the word bakery. Because a lot of data matching works on statistics. And if most mystery books with the word bakery in them are cozy mysteries, then if your serial killer story happens to take place in a bakery, then there's a chance that the algorithm might go, this is probably a cozy mystery.
And there was an incentive for Amazon at one time. Remember, they kind of like made the whole ebook they weren't the first ones to have an ebook. That's like Sony's thing, I think. But they really made an ebook ecosystem work. Like, it actually became a viable market for people. There was a point in time where they rightly assumed that we were all stupid on how to sell our books, and so they would help us because they want to make money. And
wait, let's put the quotes up right. Help us.
Yeah, help us. And I love your confetti.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's amazing what happens with the robots and stuff on the back end. I would say we are now at the point with Amazon, and it's not their fault. That's why you should never yell at the people that you email or anything like that. They're just working. Like, they're not. It's not their fault.
Very true. Very true. So let me
share. Do you want to show the indies one? So I'll go ahead and share the screen again. Harper's saying that links to the authors in the Airtable are getting sorry dogs when you click on them. So maybe we could look at the indies for bakery.
Sure. Let me.
Sorry dogs. Is it behind a wall of some sort?
No, that's just Amazon not having. That means the link on Amazon isn't working.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, some of them might have changed. But okay.
Hello, Edie. Good to see you. Hi from New York City. Hello, Edie. We're just jumping in. Okay. I just wanted to see covers that actually made sense for bakery.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Well, give me a minute, and we'll get there. Thank you, Harper. The next thing that we can look at, because what we're doing here is going through and looking at these 200 cozy mystery books through a few different from a few different angles. So
this is my favorite.
We started off by looking at the kind of top level, which is how many in KU versus how many wide, how many series versus how many standalone, how many indie versus how many trad, to get a sort of a general overview. The next thing we can look at is the topics that are in those books. And what you see here is a word cloud of the most common phrases and words in the top 200 books. They're kind of grouped, so you'll see things like animals over here, and you get the animals tag for your book if you include any one of a number of different animals. Essentially, you get the holiday tag if your book mentions Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, etc., right? So
I have a question.
Go on.
When you said that they kind of live with each other, for this particular array, does that mean that animals, magic, and cozy are more closely aligned in the market than, say, animals and British, which is all the way over by police?
No. So the spatial arrangement here is just because it looks pretty. Yep, and you'll see that because it moves around when we filter stuff.
We're not in sci-fi right now, Edie. We're doing cozy mysteries, but he does have a tool for this just for sci-fi as well.
Yeah, sure. I'll send you, Edie. I'll in the show notes, I'll drop a science fiction or fantasy example of the same kind of thing. So.
And then before we move on from this, I do want to share something about this tool because it's my favorite one.
So the other thing I wanted to say here was, again, if you want to, you can filter for specific things. So let's just look at the stuff that's in KU and the stuff that's indie.
These bright colors are my Jimmy Jam.
Yeah, I thought you'd like it. It took me a long time to choose those colors. I'm actually not joking. It did take me a long time to choose. So
I believe.
What I've done, so what I've done is I've divided these tags up into 4 fairly arbitrary groups: characters, themes, tropes, and settings. Now, the reason I've done this is to get a sort of a general idea of what people talk about a lot in the blurbs and in the titles for things, So what we can do here by looking at it is to say that detectives and police are really common character types. And settings are often small town, which is kind of not surprising for a cozy mystery. But at the moment in particular, we're also seeing quite a lot of holiday books, which is also pretty common for this time of year, So you'll see holiday books in romance, but also in cozy mystery in particular. So, Elizabeth, you had something you wanted to say?
Yeah. Okay, can you go back to the all?
Yep.
Okay, here's why I love this tool, y'all. Okay. Everybody always asks me, I don't know what to write. I don't know how to go into the market. Here's what you do. Pick a word for each of the colors and ta-da, you have yourself a niche. And you can make sure you're picking a big one and a small one and a medium-sized one. So if I'm looking at this and I know I want to do holiday, okay, then I need to pick something that's a little bit smaller than holiday. And I'm going to go with, I can't really see. Hold on. I got to make it bigger.
Office workplace. School
no. Here we go. Holiday, organized crime. So I've got a teeny tiny one. Yep. Yeah, because even mafia people have to have a holiday, right? So organized crime, holiday. And now I need a big one. So why don't we
Aristocracy, which?
Huh?
Aristocracy, which? I mean, detective, it's kind of unsurprising. Detective and police are 2 of the most common character types that are mentioned.
I was going to go with animals, and here's why.
Animals?
Because I need a big one. And animals is bigger than holiday, so holiday is my middle-sized one. Organized crime is my teeny tiny one, and then animals is my big one. So I'm thinking the mafia. He's having a heart. It's almost like he's this guy on the regular time, but the woman or the sleuth only knows him as someone who's got a like a puppy farm or something that they're going to break down or something.
Okay, the Hitman's Christmas. All right. Yep.
Yeah, the hitman saves the puppy at Christmas.
Okay. Yeah, look, don't overthink it. But okay,
but the point is, I mean, this is the reality. If you do that, you will be able to get a toehold in the market. If you did 3 or 4 books like that, it's got enough of what's popular with a little bit of uniqueness, the organized crime. And, I think that's the kind of thing that can make you really think outside of the box, looking at these little ones. Now, if you were to pick 3 small words, guess what? You've just niched yourself right out of the market. Because it's just too tiny. And Plumstone's got one. He kidnaps a drug dog and now has to learn how to get along with it.
That's gold, actually. That's a great idea.
What I mean? This is why it's my favorite tool of yours, because authors can look at that word cloud and I say, pick a big one, pick a medium one, pick a small one. And you have basically formulated yourself a way that you're going to get a toehold into the market, but still possibly appeal to more readers.
Okay. So what is fascinating about this, what is spurred my imagination, makes me think that I could, because of the how fast I can write a book now, how fast I can write with the easy peasy book machine, a cohesive book, something that you can spin up because you took a look at the genres and you said, okay, I've got these 3 things. I'm going to take these 3 things. I'm going to drop them into Chat GPT, or I'm going to drop them into Raptor Write, and I'm going to say,
We can.
Mm.
Yeah, wait. Because I was going to ask about this too. So I would assume that at some point there is going to be an API call that we can make to all of this information within Kindle Trends. And if that is the case, then it would be really cool if your tools could talk to my tools.
I love the way you say that, bro. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of where Elizabeth and I have been talking, and we, at the moment, it is done in a fairly rudimentary way, which is you just get the text output, which everyone gets at the bottom. I'll show you this down the bottom. There's a download all of this in a spreadsheet or in a tab delimited text file link, you know, because I'm very big on open data. I don't dig on sort of mysterious computer magic type stuff. I want to make sure that everybody can understand what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. And here we go. So at the moment, the way to do it is a pretty basic one where you get the data and put it into ChatGPT or another LLM. But what we would like to do in the not too distant future is to try and pipe it through directly so you can get very specific data. So for instance, you could focus, you know, you're looking at, what was it, holiday, animals, and mafia and crime, and then just get a feed of the books that are relevant to that. And that's not too tough. It's pretty doable.
Just a little side quest, Elizabeth. It would be really cool, I think, maybe to develop this sort of thing inside of Canvas, inside of GPT, because it still uses GPT 4.0, but it doesn't have all the multi things with the, you know, and you can't upload stuff and blah blah blah. But it might be good for developmental. And you are muted. You're muted, Elizabeth. I'm thinking, can y'all not hear?
I cannot hear Elizabeth, but I can hear you, Akello.
Yeah. Let me unmute.
I muted myself when I started typing. That was my bad.
Okay.
Oh,
that's cool.
I was about to unmute you. I was like,
here's the plan. All right. This is why I'm moving into agents. I just confirmed with Joseph this afternoon that there is a way for us to make agents, or they call them assistants inside of the OpenAI API. They call it an agent in Mistrals. There's a way to make an assistant where you have given it, it's almost like it's like your Google LLM notebooks, but you create it inside of your API side, and then you can call that as a actual like model. So it has the information, it has the data, plus it has the model, and you can bring that. You'll be able to bring that into Advanced Raptor Write or into Rexy.
Okay, cool.
So we're going to basically, so you have a fine tune. That's one way that you're changing the model. Another way to change the model is basically the model accesses a vector store of data at the same time as an agent, and it has a very clear job that it has to do.
Okay.
So we got it.
That spurs my imagination even further.
But in the meantime, can I share the little funny thing so that they can see exactly how to use your tool, Nat?
Yeah, go ahead.
So the manual way, and this is why you want access to this, is because it's like I grabbed it and I said, can you give me a hook and pitch for a cozy mystery novel with organized crime and animals and a holiday? So I have my words, and it has the hook. I'm not going to read the whole pitch, but when a Christmas charity event at a small town animal shelter turns into a crime scene, amateur sleuth and pet photographer Holly Whitaker finds herself tangled in a holiday mystery involving stolen goods, mobsters disguised as Santa, and a mischievous pug with a nose for trouble.
And you could write 3 or 4 of those sort of books in November and have them all come out at the holiday.
Yeah. All right. Now it's Nat's turn. Keep going.
Okay, so just the last thing let's go back to that. So I want to show you a couple of other examples here, but one of the things that I want to make a point about is I put a lot of effort into making this kind of snappy, so you can play around with things and go, I wonder if it does this, or I wonder if there's any of this in the market, and type it and have it kind of update live. I think that's really important because it allows you to go back and forth and to come up with an idea and to sort of quickly test it. So, for instance, I've got a couple of tabby cats, Horace and Ichabod. They may make an appearance, no promises. So say I want to write something about tabbies. I can write tabby in here, And yep, looks like there's 3 books that feature tabby cats. So I can click on, in this case, I'll just click on mystery, and we'll go and look at the 3 books that feature specifically tabby cats.
As they would say in Boston, that's wicked. Holy crap.
Yeah. Okay. But, maybe on the other hand, maybe I am not quite so tabby centric and I just want to write stuff about cats. Okay.
Ooh.
So I can type in cat and filter by text. All right. And then I can say, show me the books that are in KU. There's 58 of them and they are standalone. Okay. So there's only one standalone KU book which mentions cats. And it also talks about police, horror, mystery, crime, friendship, suspense, and school academy.
What is there some way to extrapolate? I mean, do you say to yourself, well, there's only one standalone, so I better be writing a series in that particular genre if you're looking for a cat? Or
no, I think that you've got to be really careful there about which way the arrow of causality, how's that? Like the fact that there aren't a lot of books that fit a really specific profile, to me, is neither a good nor a bad thing. Like on the one hand, it might mean that there's an opportunity to write them, but on the other hand, there might be a reason, which is that nobody wants to read them. So I think the way I always pitch it is it pays for you to know what else is in the market if you've got some specific constraints. So, like, say you are wanting to write a series, but you'd like to start off with a standalone, just to sort of test the waters, so you're not kind of buying yourself into writing a lot of books or something like that. So in that situation, you might want to choose to focus on the standalones just to get a picture of what kind of things people are saying in them, and then maybe change it a little bit. So if your standalone takes off, you can expand it into a series. So I think my answer is that. The important thing is to know what else is in the market that matches the kind of profile that you're looking at. And you can flip back and forth as well. Sorry, go on.
No, not at all. So interesting comment from McKinley. And I think this is actually very important comment. Because you, as a person who is writing, you need your fuel. You need the things that help you that percolate in your mind while you're sleeping in your subconscious in order for you to bubble up original ideas in the first place. And to get a real good idea of what you like to read is a really good idea of what you like to write. And totally. It to find all of that good stuff, like she says, a great way to find things she wants to read.
Yeah. And the way I often put it is that it helps me stay creatively refreshed. So seeing what other people are doing in the market, which is relevant to me, that helps me stay fresh and stay connected with what's going on with other authors, but also with my readers as they change. So one of the things that I talk about quite a bit is, you're going on a journey as a writer. You're changing as a writer every time you write a book. You're not the same writer you were 2 years ago, but also your readers are not the same readers, and they are being influenced by a whole lot of other things. And understanding that stuff is really important, so you can stay connected with them as they go through their journey as readers. And reading the stuff that they're reading, or at the very least being aware of it, is a big part of that.
Hey, Nat, what's the code? The promo code?
No, I was going to be American. So there is a promo code for this, right? These are free because in the new year, this is going to be part of a paid service.
Yeah, no, this stuff. So everything we're seeing here, Theodore, thank you, and some of the other links that I'll drop. These are all free tools for the community, and you're most welcome to share them with the, your other colleagues and so on and so forth. We can talk a little bit about Kindle Trends at some point, but I think we've already talked a little bit about that already, and what we hope.
No, we're going to talk about. I'm going to take over. Yeah. It's my YouTube channel, so tough.
Okay, do whatever
you guys
want.
Support him. KindleTrends.com. You get your first month free. It emails you every single week or month.
Both, either. If you want.
Okay. You can choose. Basically, he's got a bunch of different categories, genres. You get an email. It's really cool. We showed it 2 nights ago where you can just take the data from the email, throw it into ChatGPT, and it'll give you a bunch of story ideas. And what he does is in that email, he tells you like what keywords are up and what keywords are down. So over 2 or 3 weeks, you can get a trend like that. You don't have to be a data scientist like Nat is. And it's probably the best $15 I think an author can spend if they're going to go all in on AI writing. And I mean, everyone specializes in what they specialize. We make the easy peasy book machine. Nat makes the easy peasy book data. So
yeah, the way.
And
you.
here,
Yeah,
Jen
the way
says,
I put
don't
it, and
sign
I
up to get all the categories at the same time. Ask me how I know. But you do get your first month free on Kindle Trends, and then it's $15 a month.
Yeah, absolutely. And the way the thing that I often say to people is, I want it to be like stupidly good value. I want it to pay for itself, because everyone's got things that they use a little bit of and they don't feel like they're getting a lot of value about. I decided when I started Kindle Trends a bunch of years ago, I didn't want it to be like that. I wanted it to pay for itself month after month, like very obviously. And if it doesn't, I'll just give you your money back, man. I'm a writer. I'm not really a marketer. So
$15 a month is great.
Sell.
Yeah, $15 is great just for the thing that McKinley said of like, this can tell you what to read.
It's serious fuel for your imagination. That's a big deal.
We're busy.
Yep.
We don't need,
and we're doing a whole lot of cool stuff next year. So yeah, it's great if people can be part of it.
There's another thing that's really important. Okay. Your Amazon store, when you go to the Amazon store and you're logged in, it's showing you recommendations and showing you lists of things that is polluted by your own personal purchase history and stuff. Nat's data is not affected by your own personal purchasing behavior. So
isn't that glorious?
When you use his tool to look to see like what's a trending keyword, you might go like, wait, friendships is trending, but I just searched cozy mystery and I'm getting nothing but witches. If all you read is witch cozy mysteries, it's never going to show you friendships, or that friendships is a growing thing. So it's really important as a publishing professional that you invest in these tools that have basically keeps you actually up to date on what the market is, and not something that you can only see. Like, you can't see this in your own Amazon account necessarily.
I have to say, it feels like a easy way to not get bored as a writer too. You go with the trends and you find new and interesting niches, and you just seep into that niche and still get to write something cool, but it's completely different than what you usually like or write. And you may be able to even start a whole new pen name just off of riding the wave. You know what I mean? It's pretty exciting.
You have a list?
Yes, I do. I'll send it to. I'll post you the link, and then you can.
We are making him so uncomfortable, guys. Like, just so you know, he hates this. He really hates selling his stuff.
I get that from people too. So I try. I work for an educational institute, and none of them like selling things.
Yeah. So where can I find the list on your website of like what genres you can cover?
KindleTrends.com. Hang on, I'm going to have to have a look myself. Stand by. To answer your the question in the chat, you get 14 different genres at the moment, every week and every month.
Wait. I'll share your screen. So it's on the frequently asked questions part of Kindle Trends. He hides it.
Yep.
No, he doesn't.
Don't. Hang on, wrong one. There it is.
Okay.
Okay, so let me just zoom in on that. So 1 hour romance, paranormal, gay romance, historical romance, science fiction, teen and YA, erotica, MT, mystery, thriller, and suspense, cozy mystery, and a few science fiction and fantasy.
Science fiction and fantasy.
Yep. So the key point there is you get all of them for the one price every week and every month. There's also an archive for every week and every month going back to 2020 if you are really keen. What I'm working on at the moment is trying to get all of that information into a database so we can make it more easily queryable. Because one of the things that we want to do, and this is the kind of game changer, don't tell nobody, is we want to be able...
Shh, everyone. All right, don't
literally...
But it is live, just so you know that. On YouTube.
So what we want to be able to do is look for the sort of undercurrents and changes in the market that are not obvious just by looking at the top 100. And that means you need a lot of data, and you need to look at it over quite a period of time, and you need to sort of go back and maybe look at previous shifts in the market and then look for the signatures of them at the same time. So one of the things that I learned over 4 years of tracking all these things in the market is that things aren't actually as trendy as people imagine. They think there is new stuff coming out like every week. There isn't. A lot of the time, popular tropes and popular themes stay popular within a particular genre, but there are subtle changes, and like the F1 thing that Elizabeth's been talking about.
It's coming.
There are subtle changes, and getting a picture of those subtle changes takes a lot more data and a kind of a longer perspective, and that's what we're working on at the moment. So,
is it possible to can you type in something like F1 into the thing? I'd love to see what that.
It's not popular yet. Look, here's the deal. I'm predicting, I'm putting it on camera, that by this time next year, 25% of the top hot new release lists in sports romance will be F1 or motorsports. There's just absolutely no way, because I'm watching these Facebook groups grow to 20,000, 40,000 women who are banding together to go to these races solo in countries that may not be so great for them to go by themselves to. Like, they're that passionate about what they're watching and stuff like that. So I think that it's going to be the next big thing in sports romance.
Yep.
Somebody's got to be a reader out of that.
Yeah. There are some really good books already, but they're a couple years old. So they came out when Drive to Survive first came out.
Yeah. Okay. So Elizabeth, I'll just pop this in the private chat, so maybe you could post that in the chat. This is Kindle Power Search, which I think most people here have seen before. It's another free tool that I make for the community, kpowersearch.com, and it is a front end for the normal Amazon search that we can use to ask questions like the ones that Elizabeth was just talking about. So what I've done here is I have searched for the word F1 and the romance subcategory, and we're getting 35 results, which is not a whole lot considering that's,
well, wait a minute. A few months ago when I asked you to look at this, there was like less than 10.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So maybe
that's a thing. Yep. Yeah, okay. So
yeah, because when we looked a few months ago, we can look in the Discord, there was like nothing. You were like, I don't think so. There's like a few books.
I wasn't against the idea.
I know you've known me long enough not to bet against me, but I have a hat. I wear the merchandise.
Do indeed have a hat. It's a great hat. I like it. It's in my
top
10 hats.
It's actually like it's holographic, so like it's got like a little rainbow to it.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, if we may. Ms. West, could we maybe share the thing, and I'll talk a little bit about covers and pricing and stuff?
The thing?
Okay, give me one second.
The infographic. Thank you.
Yeah, I lost my plot. Hold on.
It happens to me every day.
Okay, I need to go back to this, and there you go. Now you're back on this main screen.
Cool. All right. So as before,
I think we should just have you back for like a class each month, and you can go over your free tools and go over these things, because I think our community class especially would love to start using your tools.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. Happy to do
it. Actually, I would love to have you on my community class. It might be a wee bit earlier than this.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Happy to.
Kel, if you have to go, I know, because you have to work in the morning.
I am. I'll give 2 more minutes.
2 more minutes.
Okay. I'll crack on, as we say in Aotearoa. So we can look at all of the different things that we talked about here, and we can also click on each of these, just as we did with the donuts. So if you want to go to the books that are the holiday books, then you can go specifically to those in the spreadsheet. And I think that's
really so nice.
Yeah. Like I say, it's a mixture of leaning back, as they say, and looking at being told what's going on in the market, but also leaning forward and engaging with it yourself. And people want to do both at different times, and that's why I designed this tool the way it is. I'm not going to talk too much about ranks at the moment, but if you want to get a picture of how quickly things are turning over in particular areas, this is a plot of all of the 200 books divided into kind of 3 tranches. So up to 30 days old is these red ones up the top. That's the cliff. And then 1 to 6 months old is these green ones in the middle. And then 6 or more months old is these blue ones down the bottom.
And what you'll often find is that those blue ones are by the same author who have a red or a green one. So what often happens, because series are so popular in this particular genre, those red ones, I can almost be certain if you clicked on one of those random red ones, it's a number 6 in a series, and probably book 1 or something is down there. Oh, Lily Harper Hart. Well, that's a very long series. That's also Amanda M. Lee.
Oh, yeah. I love this.
She's like one of the top. She's the top person in cozies.
Yep. So one of the things that people often want to know is what's evergreen in a genre, and that's a very good question. So the way that we can find that out is pretty easy. We drag this, see this kind of filtery, slidery thing here, drag it down, and what I'm doing here is I'm just filtering for
bestseller rank.
Yep, by bestseller rank, say 5,000. Okay, so here's all of the books. See these blue ones here? Here's all of the books which are more than 6 months old, but are still above, well, rank 6,314. It's probably that one there, you know. So now I can click through these, and I can just have a bit of a look at them. And maybe I am interested in the KU indie ones because I'm KU and I'm indie. And then I can look at these ones, and maybe the ones that are up the top here, I want to know what they are. Look, there's a good friend of mine, Iris Beaglehole.
Yay!
So that's the beginning. Yep, that's the beginning of a long series, just as Elizabeth was suggesting. So,
and my bet is that person has a book in that series that just came out that's probably red or green. Because what's the best way to sell your existing back catalog? Write another book.
Your new release. Yep, totally. So this is an easy visual way of figuring out what's evergreen in a particular area.
Gives me the num-nums. I love it.
Thank you. All righty. So last thing that we can talk about, well, there's a couple of things, but we'll go over them very quickly. All right. So we can do the same sort of thing with pricing. A lot of the time people want to know what they should price their books at. So the way that we can do this visually is that this big colorful bar here represents all 200 books, and each of the bars, each of the little colored chunks represents the fraction that are a particular price. So 99 cents or $4.99 or $5.99 or whatever. So let's look at the KU indie books. And we can see that there's a lot of them are still 99 cents. Pretty interesting. Because generally we've seen that price become less popular. But
what are indies who are not KU doing?
There's 41 of them. A lot of those are free.
First in series free.
Yep, freebies. Yep. But of the priced ones, we can still see $2.99. That's interesting. There's quite a few $2.99 books there.
But that's not the 4. Okay, so that's the $2.99.
Yep.
And then the rest of them all are the higher prices. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So again, it allows us to drill into specific price points.
Now, if you unclick indie, it would be indie and trad.
Yeah, if I click all books here, it cancels those.
And then you can click wide.
Yep, but there's another cool trick I can do here. See this little drop down doohickey? I can do a comparison. So I can say, show me KU versus wide.
Okay, so that's a little bit, so that graph is misleading at first, because what it's really showing you is that brown box on wide is the $10 and higher. It's not the same level as whatever the price point is underneath it, which is like $2.99, I think, for the indies.
No, it's not. But yeah, see, that's the thing. I kind of had some interesting challenges there. And by I mean interesting if you were a massive nerd. That is, I could have stretched them all out so they were all 100%. Right. But then you would lose the ability to see that there were a lot more books in one of those bars than the other one, you know?
So you look at this and it would be like in KU has 2/3 of the market, right?
Yep.
Am I about right on that?
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. And then you can see too, though, that if you were to think of that brown square plus that dark red square on the right-hand side, those two boxes together represent all of the books in the top 200 that are $9.99 or higher.
Or more. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it's interesting that of the wide, what we see for the wide titles is there's a lot of quite a few free giveaways, but also quite a few high price that is $10 or more. So wide tends to be quite a biphasic thing. It tends to be, so,
get them in there.
And again, sorry, say that again.
Get them in there, and then the first taste is free, right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Rochelle has a question, which is a good one. How does KU have zero price books? That would just represent books that are running a free run, right? Because they get 5 days free.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it's a little tricky because sometimes you want to cut them out. But I sort of deliberately don't cut them out because if they are there, then it's important that we see them. What I try and avoid doing, and the reason why a lot of this stuff is quite complicated, is I try and avoid sort of averages and summary statistics a lot of the time because I think that they obscure the detail. Yeah, that's correct, Rochelle. This is Rachel. This is a snapshot at a particular point. So, we could calculate the average price across all of these books, but I don't think that's necessarily very useful. And sometimes it can be a bit misleading. Like the example I often say is if you've got 100 books and half of them are 99 cents and the other half are $2.99, then the average price is going to be
$1.79.
$1.20. Thank you. But that doesn't necessarily mean there are any. Okay. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean there are any books at that price point. It's like the old thing. It's like the old thing that the average family has 2.4 children. There's no actual family that has 2.4 children because that's not how children work. So, my point is averages can sometimes be a bit misleading because they make you think that the most common thing is the average, and often that's not. We know that prices work in bins, right? So what we got to know is what's in each of the bins, and is that stuff in the bins like my stuff? That's the thing.
Wow.
So $8.99 is a dead price point. Do not price at $8.99.
Yeah, this is absolutely crazy fascinating. And as a matter of fact, as a person who wants to make sure that I, put my best foot forward when I'm starting this publishing business, all of this information feels so incredibly invaluable. And to be able to like drill down into a specific or a series of specific genres so that the way that Kindle Trends actually works is got to be a wonderful tax deduction. I tell you what, it has got to be a wonderful, awesome. Do you hear me, people? Tax deduction in almost every country that has good publishing. You are going to get a tax deduction off of the Kindle Trends. Yes, you can. Yes.
So I mean,
is there more you want to show, Nat?
Well, just very briefly, we'll talk about the covers.
Wait. Before you do that,
you got to go.
I am going to head out. Before I head out, everyone, remember we have a coupon code for our Mastermind, 50% off of all of your standalone classes. And please like and subscribe to this channel. We're trying to get over 4,000. Why? Because we're vain. I will talk to all of you very soon. My name is Ekel O'Hara. Please make sure that you check out at 1 p.m. 1 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. That's 10 a.m. 10 a.m. in the morning on the West Coast. And I will be finishing out this great, long, wonderful live stream awesomeness. And have a good day.
No, you're finishing out tomorrow.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, you're back on tomorrow. I'm not.
Yes, it's just me. It's just going to be me. I may see if I can pull Steph or Stacy in, but I am going to be, we're going to go through the notes, talk about what we did over the
linen.
Yeah, so do kind of a wrap up party, maybe I'll play some music for everyone. Oh, actually, you can't do that with we're gonna have to figure out whether or not we can.
Good night, Ekel. Love you. Bye-bye.
Have a good day, y'all.
All right.
All right. Bye. We'll see you tomorrow. No, he'll keep talking.
Yes, I will.
See?
That was great. And another thing. Okay.
And another
Very
thing.
good. Yeah. So,
Bye, Gallup.
sorry, Alyssa had a question. Will the infographic only be focusing on ebooks or print as well? That's a good question. So we've got print book information, Alyssa, but I have to figure out how to incorporate it all without our heads exploding, essentially, because there's a lot of complexity going on here already, and what I have tried very hard to do is to make it rich enough to be useful to everybody, but also not so damn complicated that your head explodes. And that's actually quite a challenge, if I say so myself. So incorporating, go on, sorry.
That is a challenge. I mean, I think you've done a great job, and I apologize if I me saying like this is misleading, pointing out things about the graph. I'm not thinking that your infographics are bad at all. It's just numbers and authors I have found are not always a great match. It helps
not at all.
When they can see, they can understand better what they're seeing on the screen.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of this, as well as sort of the idea of people being visual or not.
Yeah,
the thing
is great.
No one looks at a large number, like a spreadsheet full of numbers, and can necessarily see all of the things that they might want to see. So using other visual elements like color and size and shape and trend to uncover different things that are going on is really important. But that's all a language that we sort of have to learn to speak in a way. So adding more words to that language and adding more information to that language, I want to make sure that I get it in a way which allows us to ask the right questions and to do the right kind of comparisons. So short version, Alyssa, it's happening. I've just got to figure out a way to do it that makes it useful rather than sort of just extra information. Because I could do a whole, I could have an entirely separate graphic just about print books, but I don't know if that's necessarily the right thing to do. I'm not sure yet. So maybe what we're going to do is add another thing here, which will be ebook versus print. So you can
that'd be cool.
Yep, we can look at trad versus
although like the pricing wouldn't really matter for ebook versus print because like
Perhaps
those are going to be totally different. And and honestly, Alyssa says she loves already what's here. She was just curious, and if you only have ever had ebook deals, I'll be forever very happy. So
well, what I want to be able to do, trust me, what I want to be able to do is every freaking thing, but
you can't.
We have to rein in. Sometimes our reach exceeds our grasp or whatever it is, right? So we've got to rein in our ambition and figure out how to ask the most valuable questions first up. What I'm hoping, though, is that we'll be able to produce enough data that if other people can, absolutely, Don, that's the whole thing, right? So too much is overwhelming or as unhelpful as too little in a way. So what I'm hoping is that next year we'll also be able to give people the ability to dive in and pull out the stuff that's really relevant for them. So if you want a high level view, the newsletters are always going to be there. They are the Wall Street Journal that you read at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Monday with your cup of coffee, your cup of tea, just to see the kind of what's going on right away. But if you've got specific questions, then what I want to be able to do is to make it easy for you to go and dive into your neighborhood for the data.
I think with the 25-25 challenge, I think that there could be a society using the Kindle Trends emails. So on Monday, you get it. You guys can talk in the Discord and come up with a project from that email, and you can get it written and ready for publication. And if you did that every other week, you'd have your 25 and 25. They're trying to do 25 titles in 2025.
Yep.
So there you go.
Yep. Yeah. Interesting.
Okay. Covers.
Okay. So the last thing I wanted to do is we'll zoom down to covers. Is we'll look at let me just reload that so it's working. Okay. So what we're looking at here is same thing as before. So the top 200 books, but now it is a montage of the covers. In the normal Kindle Trends email, you get a static montage, which I think is pretty useful. It's good for people's cover design decisions and stuff like that. What this is what I call a dynamic montage. That is, it changes when you do things. So we can mouse over individual books to find out about them. And you can see there it's got the topic tags down the bottom.
And I can see right away some series that are in there. Because I can see books that go with each other. I can see 3 that go to each other in the top right. And I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that go together down at the bottom. I can immediately see the one tequila. And I know that that's Trisha O'Malley because I recognize her book covers right away. So it's a really cool, especially zoomed in because I know this is really small. But taking a look at this, notice the authors that you can recognize right away who have got their branding like very very clear, versus the books that look like they look too similar, but they're different authors.
Yep. To answer your question, Alyssa, they are, so we've got, don't quote me on this, about 6 or 8 of them available now. I will follow up with Elizabeth and we'll have a link to a page which has got all of the ones that are currently available. What I'm working on doing is hooking this up to the regular Kindle Trends weekly and monthly emails, so you'll be able to get this kind of information every week and every month.
Yes, so how often are these updated right now? They're just...
about every month or so.
About every month or so. Okay. So this is just a snapshot in time every month. So it's a helpful tool, but it's going to be even more helpful going into 2025. That's why these are free. They're basically beta. And he's looking for feedback on, is the way the data is presented, is it helpful? And I think we can all say unanimously, yes, shut up and take my money.
Yeah, well, the most important thing now is learning about how people use them and what they find useful and all of that kind of stuff.
I tell you what, that tag cloud is so helpful. Like, just pick 3, pick a small, pick a medium, pick a large.
Yep. Yeah, well, that's also why I did the color thing. Like, we can there's a lot of different arguments, which I love having, about what constitutes a theme versus a setting and stuff like that. And those are all totally valid. But I sort of put an arbitrary ass stake in the ground and said, okay, let's call this a theme and let's call this a setting and let's call this a trope, so that we could divide things up and say, what are the most important characters? What are the most important settings? And get a general idea about it. Everyone's going to have different ideas and nobody has to agree with me. But the important thing is that we have a place to start, and you can download the data for yourself. So if you want to dig into it and come to different conclusions, then you can do that. Sorry, Elizabeth.
No, that's fine. Sorry, they weren't seeing your face. They were seeing the thing. So I was being a bad producer.
Oh, no, not at all. I don't expect you to, no. So the okay,
cover thing, can you type in bakery and it'll just show you the book covers that bakery is a thing for?
That is the point. And I'm quite happy about that, because I am an indifferent programmer and it was not easy to make it do that. I don't boast a lot, but I'm actually pretty happy with that. So what this is doing is saying to me, here are all of the KU books that mention bakeries. And we can see that they're actually pretty different. There's no, they're actually a little bit different. Those two.
But I can actually see 3 right away that go together. And that's the Death by Chocolate and Marshmallow Pie, the something truffles, and the Strawberry Shortcake Murder.
Yep, exactly. Yep.
And this is where you have to be a human, because you have to realize it's like the old thing that Bill Cosby did. One of these things is not like the other. One of these things doesn't belong. Yeah. Listener says this is so impressive. I really love the direction you're taking this. And Rochelle says, this is great. You can see what kind of covers for each genre. And Alyssa says, cool. I'm eagerly awaiting for the links and when it'll be in the newsletter then. So like they really are all like, just hush and let's just pay for this and get it going.
Yeah, great. So the thing that I think this is particularly useful for, again, is if you've got an idea for a book, like you want a cozy mystery that's in KU with a cat, you can see what other people are doing in their books who have got the same elements in a way. Or detective, let's say, or so police, maybe something like that. And then we can go back and look at all of the books matching police, and then we can clear it out and we can look at all of the books again.
Yep. Very, very cool. And this is especially helpful for ideogram and things like that, because we are able to basically take an image and show the AI, like, we want something like this, but not exactly like this, so that we can get the elements in the right place, like your author name in the top right or whatever. So,
Yep. Cool.
All right. So we can look forward to you coming and joining us with some of these new things, and especially how they'll use the free tools and stuff. We'll start working with that. I'm going to encourage them to consider with the 2525 Club, getting the Kindle Trends newsletter so that they can start grabbing it, writing a project, and then go on. So that's like, I think, a really helpful way to help some of them focus, because that's the hardest thing for us with this AI. All of us feel like we can do anything. So we have a hard time starting and finishing anything, because there's a lot. Ooh, shiny. Or ooh, do this. Like, I have written
overwhelming
4 books in the last 6 months live with AI, and I just started a whole nother one this past weekend with the devil with the PR agency.
Yeah.
So.
Sorry, cat.
You have a kitty cat. I know. I heard it. You heard the cat.
Yeah. Hang on. Let me. Okay. Brief cat appearance. Hang on.
Oh, we did a cat appearance. Dasha's sleeping on my bed, and I'm not going to show you because my bed's not made, so that's not going to happen. But oh, is it Homer or hello, kitty cat? Which one is that one?
Sorry, this is Ichabod. I don't want to. This is Ichabod. I'll see if I can shift the thing. Yep, Ichabod, named after Ichabod Crane, the hero of Washington Irving's. Sorry, it's not very high, and I don't want to hassle him. Poor little kid.
I don't know if he's slow, yeah, he's a hero. There he is. We saw Ichabod.
Yeah.
Jen says, "Hi, kitty."
He's very sweet. His brother Horace, named after the Roman poet, is downstairs somewhere.
Horace, that's right. I called it Homer. Yes, that's not what I meant to do.
If I get another cat, I will probably call it Homer. But 2 is enough. 2 is enough. 2 is more than enough. You are more than enough, aren't you, kitty cat? So,
yeah.
They have been litter mates since birth, and they are very bonded. So, yeah, it's
so cute.
Okay. So enough cat talk. I think that's all.
I don't think authors ever have enough pet talk. Like if you're talking dogs or cats, they're here for it.
That's very true. I envy you, your dog. So I think that's all I wanted to say about the infographics. Thank you, Elizabeth, for giving me a chance to talk about this. I think I'm really excited about what we're doing because
thank you for coming on.
Yeah. From talking to you and Akello, I've got a whole lot of extra ideas about things we can do. And I'd like to thank everybody here in the stream as well for giving me your time.
Yeah. And I mean, you guys, so Nat and I go way back to like my very, very, very first time I ever taught authors online with what authors need to know. And it was like, be your best publisher or something like that. I did my first like 3-day go and he did a module and all of that. So that's where we connected way back in 2018. And it was a time when both of us kind of left long-term relationships. So we were able to support each other through that. So I've known him for a number of years and I've watched Kindle Trends just grow and grow and grow. And I'm really, really excited about where he's going. Because there's other stuff on the market where you can search, but it's not very visual or they give you reports. But the hard part is you got to wait for them to do a special report. And I look at it as those things are always looking at what's already happened in the market versus Kindle Trends is one of the only tools on the market that makes it really easy for authors to see in a snap what's happening this week versus last week. And in some genres, you need to be that nimble. And now we can.
Yeah.
So Jeff says, this has been amazing. So much data to think about. Dawn, who's brand new, says, thank you so much, Nat. You're doing some very important work. Theodore says, this has been great. McKinley is a fan. You're amazing. And yeah, I hope that we can kind of get you to come each month. I know we had you at the beginning of the year, but I think we should just set up a regular monthly thing for you to come for a community class. And that way we have 4,000 users now of Raptor Write. And I think, getting them to start understanding these tools and stuff like that would be really great for the community.
Yeah, absolutely. And that would give me a good chance to talk about what I'm working on each month as well. I try and get an update email out to subscribers. But
keep you on track with your milestones, sir.
Yeah, it's not because I'm screwing around, trust me. I know. There's a lot, but there's so many things, as we've seen with AI, there's so many things that we can do. We've got to be pretty ruthless about the order in which we do them because
absolutely.
I'm one man with 2 cats, and the cats are not really very much help. I'm sorry, so
we're gonna have pets that you've seen those things where the dogs can like communicate with the buttons, like
that sounds like trouble to me.
I know my dogs would just be like treat treat and then they'd probably figure out some way to be like treat bitch.
Yeah. I don't generally. I don't think your dog needs a button to communicate to you.
No, mine's a part husky, so she just talks to me. So she lets me know when she wants to. Right now, she's just sleeping on the bed, but she's the most vocal out of the 3 dogs that we have.
Right.
Oh, no cats. Cute. I don't always do well with cats, but that's okay.
I'm sorry to hear that. All right. Okay. All right. Look. I'm going to have to jet. Thank you very much, Elizabeth. I've had a wonderful time. Thank you all for your attention. I hope you have a good rest of the day, and I will see you again very soon.
It's my last live. All right. Thank you for coming.
Okay. Take care.
Yep. All right. So we have some links. I'll get some more links from him. He's giving me data and stuff like that. We'll be working on the data feed. This is one of the reasons why we are closing the mastermind, like in terms of new signups, because it does take if you guys have seen over the last 4 days, we love the new people. Like we love you guys. You guys are amazing, but you can understand how much time and effort and training goes into like kind of getting you guys all caught up in what we've been doing for the last 18 months. And if we can kind of just put a pause on that for a couple of months, that will open up our team and our mastermind to start working with Nat more one-on-one. We can get a committee of us together that meets with Nat weekly on making his tool better, because I know him very well. And the only thing he really wants to do is help authors. So if we can help support his endeavor that he's helping people, like that's his number one thing that motivates him. The same thing with Joseph, Joseph, our developer, we're working on some things and he's very excited with all the new people. And he's like, I've got to do so much work and keep them. And I'm like, stop it. You do a lot, like chill. So all of us are really excited to do more and more things to keep all of us current, keep all of us in the market, keep all of us like, we're not going to go obsolete. We're not going to go quietly. I don't want to be replaced by a robot. I want to use the robots. That's what I want to do. And I know some people don't, and that's okay. That's their choice. But I'm only 42 and I want to be around for another 20, 30 years, still in the market, writing and everything like that. So, robots it is. That's what we'll do. I want to thank everyone so much for coming to all of the lives. Unless there's any last questions or something I did not do over the last 4 days and the 12 sessions we've been together, plus the 2 bonus Zooms that we did, let me know in the chat. You got your opportunity here. Liz is like, heck yeah. I can't believe we did this. This is amazing. And if there's any of you out there who are extroverted, like Akello, myself, or not even extroverted, you can be like Stacy. Stacy's not extroverted at all. Anytime you guys want to be part of the lives, like we can invite you into the StreamYard. That's totally okay. I know Harper's been on a live before. There's been a couple of members of the FFA on lives before. So I know Akello would love guests and things like that who are working in the FFA. If it's something that appeals to you, certainly don't have to, but those of you who want to, we would love to have you. So, thank you so much. Thank you. I will confess to you, Dawn, when someone says that, how many of you have seen the movie Pillow Talk? And it's one of my favorite movies with Rock Hudson and Doris Day. I think needs to be we'll watch that for Valentine's Day, I think, in February. But he has a song, You Are My Inspiration. And then he has to change the woman's name each time. It's a song that the Rock Hudson's character sings to everybody. Tomorrow, Akello will be doing kind of the last little caboose thing for Cyber Monday, talking a little bit about what's going on. Please feel free to share with your friends the BF24 coupon code. It does end tomorrow, or encourage them to join the lab for 30 days free. That will be the 30 days free will be open until December 20th. So that's when we'll be closing that out. We have a lot to do over the next couple of weeks. It's going to be a very exciting couple of weeks. It's going to be very busy. So again, reach out to your fellow members like, hey, I don't understand how to do this. I don't know how to do this. Hopefully you saw a lot of people answer you in the comments. They'll answer you in the Facebook group. They'll answer you in the Discord. We're all pretty chill. We got cookies. We're all really good. Well, thank you all for your time, Rick. Rick says, thanks to you for your time and good work. But thank you guys. I mean, this has been really, really fun. This has been better than me having a Thanksgiving dinner that I had to cook. I'll tell you that right now. I've enjoyed this a lot more. And there's been like thousands of people who have watched these lives, which is just insane to me. So that's really great. So Cash says, people answered me instantly. So if you are new and you're feeling like, oh no, I joined this thing and no one likes me, we like you. We like you already. So just ask, just put your flag out there. I guarantee you there's someone in the FFA who's just like you, whatever you are, introverted, new, like nervous about using AI, feeling overwhelmed. Heck, if you're feeling overwhelmed, you just tag me. I'm always overwhelmed. I just push through it. But there's not a day that goes by that I'm not like, wait, what can I do with a click of a button? Why can I do that? That's just still bonkers to me. So, and also I want to give big props to everybody in the experiments channel on the Discord. Woo, woo, I see you. We're already working on the backwards and the tent pole. There's a challenge in there about how much it cost. Jen, I'm going to guess $48. Do you have the cost of what it was? Was that somewhere in the Notion? I think Jen's here. I think that's who did it. Checking in the Discord real fast. Maybe I missed the thing. It was, I thought, yeah, it's in experiments. Yeah, the strawberry. Yeah, it is Jen BB. Okay. Yeah. So maybe Jen's still here, or maybe she's looking it up. Jen BB, hopefully you're here. Oh, we have new comments. Oh my gosh. That's cheating. You are a robot. It was $51. So close. Yeah. I figured it would be about $48. Okay. So Alyssa says I need to post on starting from the middle. So before we go to strawberry, I think we maybe want to start with 4.0. I think we want to start with 4.0. So yeah. But honestly, Jen, here's what I think about your experiment, just to share with you. That summary that you got, the narrative summary that you did 4.0 on, I think that is actually a really cool backbone that you stumbled upon. And I've always fantasized about being able to make what that is, which we do, and you can highlight like sections of that and be like, turn this into prose of 400 words, turn this into prose with 400 words with like a 4.0 model and like expand it that way. It's just an idea. I don't know for sure, but we may be able to make tooling for that. So the idea of making a specific tooling for, I have this narrative summary, and then it's like fine-tuned to turn that into prose, or or we're using an agent that's trained to turn that into prose. So yeah. Alyssa says also, latest is better than trying to go 2024 0806. It was a trap. Never again. All right. Well, listen, everyone, I look forward to seeing you in boot camp tomorrow. Jen says, oh, interesting. Oh, you like about the backbone idea. Yeah, the summary, and you can just highlight that section and be like, turn this into 400 words. But it has, so basically we're giving it a whole different kind of outline. We're giving it, it's a narrative summary. It's basically like a synopsis that you would turn into an agent or something. Jen's like, yep. Yeah, this is a Zoom conversation. This is a Zoom call conversation. I am not going to Zoom tonight. I love you all, but no, thank you. Because I still have to do work over the next couple of days. So tomorrow, the boot camp. I'm not sure what time we're meeting, but it's in the calendar. You're going to be watching the 2005 Pride and Prejudice movie. I don't know if we'll like start it and I'll watch it. We can try that. Like you're watching it, bring popcorn, I guess. I think I could do that once. I don't think I can. I don't think I can do that on in the evening one. Maybe. I don't mind watching it twice. Heck, I watch it a lot. Christina says, can we put that conversation on the calendar because I am lost? Yes, it will happen because it's definitely fully in the realm of madness at EAW. That's definitely in the realm for those classes. Adam is on after this. That's a great point, Memes. So in the community, in the quad room, if you go to the quad room link in your Teachable, I think it's in 30 minutes, 28 minutes, there is a flip side Write with Me's. A lot of people from Australia and other parts of the world get together and do sprints or talk and everything like that. So this is me signing off, and I'm a little sad about it, but thank you all so much. Thank you again. And we're all in this together. All right. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.